Hello, this is a review for the Saddleback leather Indiana gear bag and the Mountainback lineup. I'll give you some detailed close-up shots first before I begin. The back. And the bottom. And the strap. Some hardware. Before I begin, I think it'll be helpful if I give you a brief description of my experience with Saddleback. I became a fan of Saddleback in 2012, and since then I've had experience with many of their bags. Just to name off a few: large classic, medium thin, medium simple, large simple, small, medium, and large satchels, the book bag, the pouch, tablet bag, and some smaller stuff too, as well, like wallets. I think that'll give you a reference point of where I'm coming from and my perspective on this bag. Okay, so I'm gonna go through my first impression, my opinion on the build and construction of the bag, how it carries, some things I have questions about or I consider questionable, and then I'll just give you my conclusion after that. My first impression, when you get it out of the bag, it's a really handsome bag. It's understated, and it feels like quality stuff. The canvas, it really strikes you as heavy and durable. If you've ever handled a Filson canvas, it feels just like that, except that it's waxed. I also thought that the bull leather was extremely thick. I think it's about almost a 1/4 inch. That's the back. That's the handle. And the strap in the front. So it has some heft to it, leather-wise. And as I was handling the bag for the first time, I did feel a bit of waxy residue in my hand. It's not that there was wax on my hands. Like, I couldn't scratch my hands with my fingernail and wax would be caught up in it. It wasn't like that, but my hand would feel waxy, much like when you handle a candle. Right? Your hand feels waxy, but you don't actually have wax on it. So it had that kind of feeling. I don't think that's a quality issue at all. It's just the nature of how wax feels on your skin. It actually smells really nice. Pleasant, nutty kind of smell. Another first impression. So when you first get your Saddleback leather bag, it's really almost overwhelming because of how stiff and how structured and how strong the bag feels. This Indiana Gear bag did not have that kind of same toughness that I had felt with some of the Saddleback leather products. And I don't think it's because of build quality at all. It's only because it's a canvas product rather than a full leather product. And because it's a canvas product, when they make it, they stitch it and then they flip it inside out. You're gonna see these exposed seams. And things like this just makes it feel a little bit less durable and strong as a leather bag. But yeah, that's how canvas is, not negative at all. Okay, I'm gonna go into the build, construction, and design. I think this bag has really good use of leather and canvas, right? It's like a good hybrid, because if you have experience with just high quality full leather bags, they get heavy. They get heavy and they feel bulky. But making this like a hybrid of the two, it's like a good compromise, I think. So you get the back leather and the bottom. So this gives it some structure and also making it more comfortable to carry while it's hanging on your side, while the canvas on top makes it able to collapse, so the bag is malleable. So it's a really good use of canvas and leather, I believe. I want to show you some detail that I appreciate about this bag. Details about this bag that I appreciate. Let's go with this design first. If you watch the Indiana Gear bag presentation video by Dave, he goes through how he came up with this strap design to hold the bag, how it distributes the weight not just from this grommet here but throughout the canvas here. I gotta appreciate the research he did for that, and just that willingness to go that extra mile to have that extra tough bag. If you're wondering why I have a ream of paper inside, it's for review purposes, which I will go over later. Some other detail. So you saw on the back of the bag, there's a bunch of copper rivets. On the inside, it's finished with some leather. And that was a good touch, I think, because if it was canvas, I think the copper rivet would be more prone to bending inwards, depending on how you use a bag. But having that piece of leather in there, it'll give some structure to this end of the rivet. And it has that on all the rivets in the back here and on the bottom of the bag. I don't know why they didn't put the leather backing on the handle part, which I think would be the part that carries the most weight in certain circumstances when you use a handle. I don't know why. I don't think it's a cost-saving measure. I don't think having one of those leather pieces would cost so much. I don't think it would take that much time. It must have been some design choice. Maybe they overlooked it. I don't know. And if you look in the inside, the canvas, the grommet strap that I showed you earlier, it's stitched against a thick piece of leather. So it's not going to break anytime soon. It's not only held onto that canvas by thread and canvas, but by leather as well. So it just gives you that extra strength, durability. And this closure, you know, I give it a thumbs up. I thought it would be a little bit gimmicky just by looking at the pictures, but it's really a one motion closure. So when it's closed like that, you want to open it. How I do it is I stick my finger under there, just grab it and pull up, and then it opens. Grab your stuff, and when you close it, you gotta fidget with your fingers a little bit. You gotta find that hole first, hold that strap down, up, and then stick that in. Oh no, my notes. This review is not easy with the wind. My notes just flew away, that's why I had to move over. So a big thumbs up for that. My only complaint with this closure would be that when this bag is empty as it is now, and you close it, where it naturally sits is like right there. I don't know if you can see, where it naturally sits is like right there. So if you're not carrying a lot of stuff, maybe a wallet, keys, small water bottle, if you just let it fall, it will just fall right there, and it would go into the hole really easily and just stick it in. But for some reason, it doesn't have that hole there. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the location of this handle for the strap. I don't know. I would have done it a bit differently, but it's not my company. And this thing is like a strap for the handle. A bit unnecessary in my opinion. But you know, maybe some people will find it useful. Okay. How it carries. The weight is 3.2 pounds, which is the same as the small leather satchel. And although the weight is the same, it feels lighter, and I feel that it's because it's collapsible. It's not as structured as the satchels are, so it carries easier, or at least it feels like it's easier. And also what helps is the strap. The strap is wider, I believe, than the Saddleback leather bag straps on the satchels or like the briefcases. And because it's more malleable, it distributes the weight a lot better across your torso. So even though it weighs the same as a small satchel, it carries easier. And the size for me is very ideal. When I tried the book bag, after you put in a wallet, that's about like an inch or inch and a half thick, and maybe your keys, you don't have a lot of room in there. Maybe one small book at most. But this, I think you could carry wallet, carry keys, water bottle, books, one book. And I think that would be just enough for this bag. So we should talk about the ream of paper. As I said, it's for review purposes. That ream of paper is a universal size for everybody, so I thought it would be a good reference point to show you guys what this bag will fit. Alright? It's gonna be a bit fidgety because I'm gonna be doing it with one hand, so watch. Stick it in there. Stick it in there. Okay, it's all the way in. I'm gonna close the strap. Alright. Give it a tug to make sure it's all the way in. So it's gonna come up just about that much. And if I open it from side to side, give it another tug. It's a tight fit, but you could probably fit a bit more stuff in here, like that, no problem. But you get the idea. Right, so that's what it's gonna fit. A ream of paper, that's 500 sheets of standard computer paper from my office. I gotta take it back. Oh, where's my notes? Okay. All right, let me talk about some questionable details. The stitching along the top flap, it's not ugly. It looks nice actually. It gives the bag some design elements, but I really have to question the durability of this. If you look at it, it's just thread going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The entire edge of this bag. It's just more things to come undone, and I don't know if that was a really good design decision. Plus, because there's so much thread going in and out, some of the fiber of the canvas seems a little bit weak. I mean, there's not going to be any weight on this section of the bag, but you just gotta question it makes you question the long-term durability of the bag. And also, because it's canvas, when you scratch up your leather bags, or Saddleback leather bag at least, you don't mind when you scratch it with your fingernails, because it's leather. It kind of has a property of healing itself. But since it's canvas, I get this feeling that the more I scratch my fingernails on it, it's gonna wear down over time. Of course, it'll take a long time, but it might wear down. Who knows? And I understand that's how canvas is. I'm not complaining about the canvas itself, but it's not leather, so it's not gonna have that toughness of leather. Another questionable design choice. So when I was sticking in the ream of paper earlier, you noticed that I had a harder time. It's because this top, the front of the inside of the main compartment, is riveted like this. There's that leather backing again. And although the depth of the bag is the same, if I just line it up, it's 3 inches along the entire side here. But because of that, the top, it tapers off a little bit towards the top, making the entrance to the bag just a little bit tighter. And I don't know if it was really necessary. Maybe it was. Maybe it was Dave quote-unquote over-engineering it, but I think it might have been fine just without it. Would have made the bag a lot easier to get into. And my last questionable design of this bag is the location of this pencil line. When I first saw this, I really liked it. I thought it was a clever location to place a pen. However, upon using this bag, I realized it's a flawed location, and the reason is because when you hold the bag by its handle, it bows like that. right now it's empty and it bows like that. So if I had something heavier in there, it would even bow even more, which means the pen inside this section would bow along with it, and depending on how strong the chassis of the pen is, it's gonna either hold the weight of the entire bag or it's gonna bend or break. And if it's like a cheap plastic pen, it might bend, it might even break, who knows. Ink might spill over, who knows. Maybe if you had like a strong metal pen, it might be able to hold the weight, but I don't know if you really want to do that if you're carrying like, you know, a couple pounds in there. I wouldn't. So when I tested it, I had a Zebra F something pen. So if I use a clip, it only goes up to there. So even if it bowed, it wouldn't bend necessarily, maybe slightly, but not too much. But with a plastic big pen that I tried, it goes like smack dab in the middle right there, and then it would bend. So I wouldn't feel comfortable carrying a big pen in there. Even if I had a high quality metal pen, I don't think I would feel comfortable doing that if I'm going to carry it by the handle. So something to think about. Maybe if you want to put like a small knife in there that goes only as far as about that much, it'll be okay. I might put my Swiss Army knife in there. Okay. Oh, my notes flew away again, but I don't need it anymore. So I'm gonna wrap up the review. Overall, I really like it. I'm gonna be keeping it. I hope it lasts a long time, and I hope this review will help you in making a smart decision. Thank you for watching. Bye.